Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, or whatever ungodly hour you find yourself listening. We are the Bards Against Humanity, here to strum your lute and absolutely wreck your ear holes. So prepare for a podcast that'll hit harder than a nat one in bed, because we're coming in your ears.
That's right. It's, of course, me, Leo, here today. What. And, of course, Succulent Daniel.
Ooh, Succulent is a new one. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
That's exactly where I want you to be. And today we're talking about another subclass in the Ranger, the Gloom Stalker.
Gloom Stalker, or the emo wannabe emo guy, gal thing of the Ranger classes.
Struggle with that one, huh?
I did a little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Especially if they're emo, they're more like... No. You know what? I know what the line is. I know what... Here it is. Found it. Oh my day. Now, unlike our last episode, there's actually changes to this subclass, which I'm excited to talk about something that actually has a change to it, more than just a weird spell slot. Not spell slot, spell.
Just a really niche spell change.
Very, very niche spell. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited. This would be probably their best subclass, right? This would be their go-to subclass for Ranger. Is that right?
Yeah, so a lot of people tend to pick and play if they're looking for a Ranger that hits the hardest. At least to my understanding. Okay. I know a lot of people multi-class this with Assassin Rogue just for Dread Ambusher.
Okay.
Because an Assassin Rogue, they can gain their critical as long as they can gain a guaranteed critical as long as they move first before someone in combat, or they have the surprise condition. So they can gain the advantage on the attack roll. Or they used to be able to gain advantage on the attack roll by being able to move first, gaining that really powerful critical, adding all their sneak attack dice to it, and getting an extra d8 of damage with Dread Ambusher, at least how it used to be, and being able to bump up their initiative even more by adding their wisdom modifier to it as well.
Well, before we fully get into Dread Ambusher, I'll introduce what Gloom Stalkers are, because we are so naturally going towards that level 3 ability. I just thought we always forget. I'm like, hold up, let's introduce it, and then we can get wet for the Dread Ambusher. So, Gloom Stalkers are at home in the darkest places deep under the earth, in gloomy alleyways, in primeval forests, and wherever else the light dims. Most folk enter such places with trepidation, but a Gloom Stalker ventures boldly into the darkness, seeking to ambush threats. So they're the reason they should be scared. Ambush threats before they can reach the broader world. Such rangers are often found in the Underdark, but they will go to any place where evil lurks in the shadows. Did you not say in the last episode that Rangers are good guys?
I did. I said I picture Rangers as the good guys, but Gloom Stalkers, based on that description and purely that description, are the Batman of Rangers. They are the anti-hero, the vigilante.
I am the Gloom.
All I could think of in the back of my mind was justice for Baldur's Gate.
Oh, good lord.
I couldn't think of a two-syllable place name in the Forgotten Realms, so because I wanted to match it up with the two syllables of Gotham, but all I could think of is three syllable or four syllable. I was like, oh, we got Neverwinter, we got Waterdeep, we got Baldur's Gate.
I am deep what? Excuse me?
Deep what?
I am illiterate.
I am deep what? What?
I only have two syllables. So, deep what?
In fact, I can't really say words greater than 2 syllables.
Oh god.
I've been cursed
We have
by a fey creature.
Could you imagine trying to keep that up for a whole campaign?
Hey, you kept up a lisp.
I did, yeah. I really enjoy. I don't know if I could do the Batman voice. My throat is already a little sore today, but I think I could do 2 syllables.
I think you could. It's something
we have really a campaign coming up as well.
We do 2 weeks time, bro.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm building my character, so could give him that restriction. Don't know why, but could be fun.
Made poor dealings with the Fae and can no longer say words greater than 2 syllables.
Like, would you? Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Small side note. I swear to God, we'll get to the Gloomstalker.
We will
But
eventually.
do you think that obviously you can't say more than 2 syllables? Do you think what would be your interpretation if there was like a pause and then blues, right? Especially for the example of syllables. So like I can only say 2 sylla blues.
2 syllables?
2 sylla pause blues because you can only say 2 syllables. And it has to be. You can't
Where's
just go
the blues
balls.
coming into this?
Because bulls. Put bulls in a sentence to me.
It's
You're replacing the.
I was so confused because I'm like, is he trying to turn bulls into a word and just chose blues?
Yeah, I chose blues. You got what I was talking about.
I got what you're talking
Like, it
about.
should
but I was
still
so
be
confused.
another word.
I think
Anyway,
it'd be
do you know what- do you know
funnier
what-
if
you know what-
in your mind you were speaking words with 3 syllables, but you
Yes.
cut off after the second syllable. That would be funnier.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, if
You
you were
just
trying to
can't-
say cranberry, because there's a carton of cranberry juice in front of me right now. If you were to try and say cranberry out loud, in your head, you'd hear cranberry, but to everyone else, you'd hear cranbear.
That's very funny.
So
I'm writing
imagine
it down.
crafting a whole sentence with just keeping in mind that you can't say words with 3 or more syllables.
That's difficult to maintain. Especially with the
difficult to
concept
maintain.
of I think in multiple syllables, not just like limiting myself to do, but I have to speak in only 2. That's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, like imagine the sentence you just
I-
said. It's like, I think in multisylla.
Oh, I hate that already. I missed that completely. God damn.
Yeah, you have to really think
Fuck.
about what
Anyway.
you're saying first.
Anyway, Dan, what's the first thing that Gloomstalkers get at level 3? I can't. The
Okay.
syllables are killing me.
We'll go with, as per usual, 2020, or as my new usual, and our new usual, I think, is go with 2024 and compare to what it used to be. So, Gloomstalker at level 3, first ability they get is called Dread Ambusher. So you've mastered the art of creating fearsome ambushes and granting you the following benefits. I almost said have mastered the art of granting foursome ambushes. That would... That,
Nice.
questionable is a questionable sentence. Anyway, so you gain the following 3 benefits. You have Ambusher's Leap. So at the start of your first turn of each combat, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of that turn. So you can move 40 feet on your first turn of combat only. You also gain Dreadful Strike. So when you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon, you can deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage. And you can use this benefit only once per turn, and you can use it a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier minimum of once. And you regain all expended uses after a long rest. And you also gain a bonus to your initiative equal to your wisdom modifier. And it's not
Good.
and it's actually really interesting because it says you can add your wisdom modifier to the roll. You don't need to. But you have the option.
You have the option.
So if you feel like, oh, I'd rather maybe let someone go forward first so that I can potentially go in after them. It's kind of...
I've had that before.
There are niche
I think-
applications for it. So I suppose like there are options where you can go like, oh, I'll actually take that by not
Actually, I
adding
need
the
him
wisdom
to
modifier.
buff me. I need him to buff me, so... No, I won't do it this time.
Exactly. But beforehand, for Gloomstalker, you did have the Ambusher's Leap. So on your first turn of combat, your speed increases by 10 feet. You also had the initiative bonus of adding your wisdom modifier to your initiative rolls. But if you... The first turn of combat used to go a little bit differently. So you got the 10 feet, you got the initiative bonus. And if you take an attack action on your first turn of combat, you can make 1 additional weapon attack as part of that action, which is part of what made Dread Ambusher so powerful really, really early on, because you could make 2 attacks at level 3, and they were full weapon attacks. And if that extra attack hits, the target takes an extra d8 of the weapon's damage type.
That's a bit of a downgrade. That's a bit of a downgrade. Now, granted, you have to hope the weapon attack hits for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit.
Yeah, the extra attack was nice for stuff like Hunter's Mark. So potentially adding an extra d6 of damage on with your weapon attacks. However, I do feel like the new Dread Ambusher is a big boost. Because being able to, once per turn, add an extra 2d6 of psychic damage on subsequent turns, not just the first turn of combat, is a bigger difference. at least to me, than before.
Interesting. I only saw it as with the first attack, not that it stays on.
Yeah, so the new Dreadful Strike benefit is when you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon, you can you can choose to deal an extra 2d6 of psychic damage once per turn, a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of once. It's not just on your first turn. It's on your first turn of each combat. Your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of turn.
Oh, interesting. Do you know what's funny? Out of all, as you can tell, we've done over 20 episodes of this. I'm always challenging you as our sponsor DM, you're my DM, but I always ask like cheeky questions and not what did I think there was like, oh, 2d6 damage. You mean every attack I do? I would have assumed it was just the one. So then it was like, I'm equating is 2d6 of psychic damage better than getting another attack and that 1d8. And I'm like, actually, depends how you build it.
I think the average of 2d6, I think technically being 4, because it's 3.5 is the average roll of a d6. If we're rounding that up to a whole number, that's 4. So your average roll of that is 8, or like 7 or 8, and I think your average roll of an extra, say, longbow attack is at 3rd level, if you reasonably put your stats in the way that you'd expect to have a 17 in dex, if you're to do the same longbow attack, is a d8 plus 3 plus an extra d8 if it's the extra attack. So the average is higher, but it's only for one turn, versus Dread Ambusher can keep adding on that d6 equal to your wisdom.
Well, about to say, if you can keep it on, sort of a thing, then it's much better. When I was reading it initially, I didn't assume that it was kept on. But yeah, no, it's good. Awesome. Then the next thing that we've got our Gloom Stalker spells. So at 3rd level, you get Disguise Self. At 5, you get Rope Trick. At 9, you get Fear. 13, Greater Invisibility, and 17, Seeming. Now, these have not changed. So if you enjoyed the Gloom Stalker magic in 2014, you're still going to enjoy it now. And they're very thematic. I like it. They're good spells.
They are indeed good spells. I still haven't read through all of the spells in the 2024 editions to see if, say, there was any like big buffs to a lot of them. So these spells very well could have slightly changed, but I don't think off the top of my head. Rope Trick is a very fun one. Seeming is also quite good. However, it's a very late level to be getting Seeming, but it's never not welcome. Just 17th is not a level you see very often.
Well, I get that. However, I do prefer getting Greater Invisibility earlier, which would be the one you swap out. Spade to spade. If you were to mix around the order of the same spells. So I think Seeming's a good idea for the subclass thematically. And I understand at 17th level, you're probably never going to use it, but I'd much prefer having Greater Invisibility at 13. That's very early. Thanks, boss.
Yeah.
So what do we get next?
All right, so next up we have Umbral Sight. So you gain Dark Vision to a range of 60 feet, and if you already have Dark Vision when you gain this feature, that range increases by 60 feet instead. You are also adept at evading creatures that rely on Dark Sight, so while entirely in darkness, you have the invisible condition to any creature that relies on Dark Vision to see you in that darkness.
That's very good.
It's very good. So while you're entirely in darkness, so no dim light whatsoever, while you're in total darkness, you're invisible. It's incredible.
That's very good. And it actually does have a bit of a change from 2014, because previously, if your race did have dark vision, it would only increase that by 30 feet. Now it's an extra 60 feet, which actually just makes more sense. Spade to spade.
Yeah, make it round. No need to nerf.
Yeah, no need to nerf. I like it. And thematical and potentially you could, depending on your campaign, you could actually use it quite a bit. Obviously, in most campaigns, you're probably not. It's very difficult because if a character doesn't have dark vision, then they're gonna have a lamp, which means which kind of ruins the effect of it. But I think if you were going to set one in the dark world, not the dark world, the underworld.
Underdark.
Underdark. God damn it. I tried twice and I failed twice. Anyway.
The Dark World. The Underworld. The Underdark. Yes.
I went very Yu-Gi-Oh with it. I don't know why.
You went straight to the Dark World.
Straight to the Dark World. Get that soul to the Shadow Realm. But I about to say, I think like if you have that setting, this subclass is going to thrive, which I like. I don't mind that in a subclass. It's not the main level 3 ability. It's a nice little funky one. I like it. It's strong. We're going strong.
We are indeed going strong. Which then jumps us up to level 7.
Yes.
Being Iron Mind.
Yes.
So you have honed your ability to resist mind-altering powers. You cannot be mind-fucked, at least in sort of. So you gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. If you already have this proficiency, you instead gain proficiency in intelligence or charisma saving throws. Your choice.
Lovely. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Checks
and it's
out.
Really, really funny. Because Rangers are wisdom casters, but guess what they don't have proficiency in?
Wisdom saving throws?
Yep, they have strength and dex, I believe.
Weird.
Yeah, strength and dex are their saving throws.
No, I like it because about to say you are building a wisdom character. The likelihood of you maybe even picking a race that has proficiency in wisdom saving throws, super high. So I like the fact that it's intelligence or charisma. I'm here for it. Thank you. Makes sense. I'm not being punished for building my character appropriately.
Exactly, yeah.
Thumbs up. Love it. So,
right.
Next up, level 11. Stalker's Flurry. The psychic damage of your dreadful strikes become 2d8. Pretty chill. In addition, when you use your dreadful strike effect on your Dread Ambusher feature, you can use one of the following additional effects. So one of them is Sudden Strike. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target and that is within the weapon's range. Mass Fear. The target and each creature within 10 feet of it must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a fail save, a creature has the frightened condition until the start of your next turn. Now this has changed massively to a degree from 2014. So in 2014, you learn, it's still called Stalker's Flurry. You learn to attack with such unexpected speed that you can turn a miss into another strike. Once on each of your turns, when you miss with a weapon attack, you can make another weapon attack as part of the same action. So changed massively.
Or better.
Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at odds because when you miss an attack in D&D, it's so sad. It so depressing. Sad, yeah. So that Stalker's Flurry is really awesome. Part of the same action. With this, you still have to hit because you have to put into effect your Dreadful Strike. What you can do with it now, the Sudden Strike ability is very similar to a feat that has just left my mind. That's wildly irritating. But as a fighter, that I normally do, I normally have this feat, and in the comment section below, just put it down so I can and put me out of my misery.
You mean Sudden Strike isn't that like great weapon fighting, but when you land a critical or like drop a creature to 0? Yeah.
And I tell you what, not many enemies group up within 5 feet of each other and also within your range, which means like I'm probably gonna have a sword. Don't know necessarily how this works with ranged attacks. Spade a spade. Doesn't actually mention that at all. So maybe if your ranged attack, you could do something quite interesting. I just know on paper reads really well. You're like, I'm going to use this all the time. And then you really aren't. And then Mass Fear, 10 feet. It once again, not a super massive distance. I think maybe if it was 30 feet, I'd be like, oh yeah, Mass Fear is sick. And that's what I just use continuously. Continuously. Instead of like something like Sudden Strike. But I think the 10 feet just isn't wide enough.
I get you.
So I don't know. I'm at odds. I don't think it's as clear cut as that's such an improvement. I don't know. I'm very much at odds. What do you think?
For me, it is a definite improvement. You can argue that a lot of subclass abilities, or just abilities in general, require you to hit something to be effective. Like even just, for example, fucking Smite, which is like the Paladin's bread and butter.
Yeah.
But I think it's like for level 11, once a turn, being able to re-roll a miss just kind of it seems quite underwhelming. Whereas being able to add additional effects onto your to hits make things feel a bit nicer. Like you can choose to make another weapon attack against a different creature, which is great because at level 11 then that'll mean as a ranger you'll be able to make those 3 attacks in one single turn. You don't necessarily need to take advantage of the frightened condition unless you feel like you're going up against a crowd of like squishy fucking cannon fodder enemies, which may have a really poor bonuses to save DCs, so that you can, get them to run the fuck away. No, I think, at least in my opinion, this is leaps and bounds better than once a turn being able to reroll a miss.
Fair enough.
Can't argue with that. For example, just as like a little example, like the sorcerers, one of their meta magics they get is Seeking Spell, which allows them to spend sorcery points to re-roll a miss on a spell that requires them to make an attack roll. That almost never sees the light of day. It's a nice option there if you do decide to take it. It's just it never really sees the light of day.
Yeah. Okay. I get. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, it's not me trying to
I'm there.
completely shit on your opinion of, I prefer the other one. It's just, to me, this screams a bit more utility than being able to turn that miss into a hit.
Yeah, especially considering what level 11. I think. Okay. I okay. What's the final ability so I can ferment on knowledge?
So the final ability is called Shadowy Dodge. So when you make when a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can take a reaction to impose disadvantage on that roll. Whether the attack hits or misses, you can teleport 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see. So giving you a use for your reaction, making them have disadvantage, less likely to hit you, and then whether that hits or miss, you can teleport 30 feet. Pretty solid. What it used to be still was called Shadowy Dodge. Ability names have not changed. So at 15th level, you can dodge in unforeseen ways. The Wisps of Supernatural Shadow around you. Whenever a creature makes an attack roll against you that doesn't have advantage on the roll, you can use a reaction to impose disadvantage on it, and you must use this feature before you know the outcome of the roll. The new Shadowy Dodge is much better. It doesn't state that they can't have advantage on it. It's just if they do have advantage, you can turn that to disadvantage, and you have the option to teleport 30 feet away after the attack hits or misses.
I have a question. I'm about to say, whether the attack hits or misses, you can teleport. Does that
Yes.
about to say the attack has to be resolved and then you can teleport, correct?
Yes.
That's how I've read it.
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't even, there doesn't need to be any current effects, so whether they have advantage, disadvantage, neutral. Granted, there's no point of imposing disadvantage, but maybe there is, considering you're also able to teleport. Well, this one requires them to have disadvantage at the beginning. No, sorry, as long as they don't have advantage on the roll.
Yeah.
Like now in 2024, they could have advantage on the roll, and then you bring that down to a neutral. I like it. I think this is a very clear upgrade. Level 11.
No, it doesn't bring it down to neutral.
Does it not?
No, if they have advantage and you impose disadvantage, that'll just impose disadvantage.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit.
So, like, if they have advantage on it, you immediately turn that into still 2d20 rolls, but they take the lower, not the higher.
Wow. No, that's awesome. A wild difference from Fey Wanderer. That's level 15 right there.
It's a fucking huge difference.
Yeah. I'm just gonna quickly check. Do they use the term impose disadvantage? That's wild. I didn't realize that little impose was so powerful.
Yeah, I'm assuming so anyway, because I know the way we've ran it before is if you have advantage and someone imposes I think it's if you have disadvantage and you add advantage to the roll, it just makes it a neutral roll.
Yeah.
But I think if you have advantage and you impose disadvantage, I could be. It's. Can you tell it's been like three months since I've properly played D&D?
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
So I'm trying to remember even from playing Baldur's Gate before and from playing D&D, I'm like, how does that impose disadvantage work? It could make it neutral, but at least it gets rid of the advantage either way.
I was about to say, irregardless, it becomes it's still an incredible ability. Like this subclass is like an 8. And if I'm being honest, I think there are a couple DMs that'll say that the 2d6 psychic damage is just for that one attack and doesn't continue on. But it's still a good ability, in that. I think it'll encourage people to go with Rogue to do that assassinate feature that we spoke about there a second ago.
I
The
think
changes to Stalkers.
I think there's less DMs that will actually include the first turn of the combat only on the 2d6 psychic damage, because if that was the case, it would be leaped in with Ambusher's Leap. Or sorry, it'd be lumped in with Ambusher's Leap, and it would mention a first attack of the turn.
Absolutely. The fact that it hasn't mentioned it is wild. I'm still 50-50 with Stalker's Flurry. You made a really good point in the fact that the likelihood of you missing at level 11 is, the amount of times you're actually going to be able to pull it off versus what it is now in 2024. So I'm sticking to an 8. I think it's very good. I completely understand why this is the go-to subclass. Completely get it. It's a very good subclass.
Funnily enough, it was never my go-to. I was always either a Beastmaster just because I liked the vibe, and Hunter just because it was simple and it was just bread and butter. Bread and butter, just pure ranger through and through. But nowadays my favorite has to be the Drake Warden, because that's just a lot of fun.
Fair.
But yeah, I think I would be at a 7 for this. It's really good class, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily think it's 8. People can hate on me for that. Like, everything is absolutely perfect. I think it's bias coming into me because I don't tend to be a very play in the shadows kind of guy. I'd be more out in the forefront, but I could hide kind of like more towards the back line as a ranger and just like provide range support. But other than that, this class is really, really good. But 7 feels like pretty solid. Definitely can't be lower than that.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think where it struggles with there are certain points where it struggles for me for it being a 10, but it's a really good subclass, and I would understand if someone turned around to me and was like, this is my favorite subclass, which is why I've bumped it up to an 8. If someone turned around to me and said, oh, Gloom Stalker is my favorite subclass, I wouldn't challenge them. I'm like, that's a fair shout, While even when you
to us and said Circle of the Sea is my favorite subclass, we would look at them, slap them in the face, and say why.
We would excommunicate them, Dan. That's the term we'd use.
Yes, I'm afraid you will never be playing at my table again. Not shitting on. No, I am shitting. We are shitting on people that have Circle of the Sea is their favorite subclass. It sucks.
It sucks, booty. But I think, dear listeners, that brings us to the end of another session where we have finally shat on Circle of the Sea again. I'm glad you threw it in there, Dan. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's where the dice are hard and the jokes are harder and our standards are at an all-time low. If you enjoyed this chaos, be sure to like and subscribe. If not, at least we finished, even if you didn't. Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks. And think about it. Next time you see something creeping and moving in the shadows out of the corner of your eye, maybe it's not a monster coming to kill you in the middle of the night. Maybe it's just your friendly neighborhood Gloom Stalker who's just really hungry and rifting through your bins to find some extra food to forage. Maybe throw them out an extra dog bowl, throw something into it. Look out for the neighborhood and all that.